An agreement is being worked out to expand the Grantley Adams International Airport. Final checks as the Oval prepares for Buju's long walk to freedom. And in sports, it will be Bulls versus Cavs in the BABA President's Cup Final.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
A very good evening to you with the Saturday, April 27th edition of the CBC News Night. I'm Ryan Broom. In our top story, a major expansion work is being planned for the Grantley Adams International Airport. Minister of Tourism and International Transport Kerry Simmons made the announcement as he addressed a reception for repeat visitors at the Blackwood Screw Dock. Sharika Griffith has that story.
As the island's lone airport, the Grantley Adams International Airport is a major gateway for visitors to Barbados, as well as neighboring territories in the Eastern Caribbean. As such, there's now a need to expand the facility, and according to Tourism Minister Kerry Simmons, an agreement is currently being worked on to do just that.
That will allow us to see 75,000 square feet of new floor space being built out at Grantley Adams Airport. And that is like building a brand new airport, annexing it onto the existing one. And that gives us, for the first time, an opportunity to see our capacity to handle arrivals move from the record level it now is at. At the close of last year, we reached a record of 687,000 arrivals. And I am not satisfied. I want us to get to 1 million arrivals as quickly as possible hereafter.
On this note, Minister Simmons also revealed that his ministry is in the closing stages of inking a deal with Germany's largest airline, Lufthansa.
Lufthansa has started to load flights. We have, without spending a dollar yet, because our marketing commitments have not begun, but we have 1,000 people coming out of Germany on Lufthansa already as a result of just the announcement. And 3 times weekly, they will be bringing traffic to Barbados from Frankfurt. But it gives us the might behind the gateway in Frankfurt of the world's most powerful airline in Europe operating on behalf of Barbados as a partner with us.
Minister Simmons made the comments during a reception for repeat visitors. He also used the occasion to announce that towards the end of May, cruise liners which leave on Friday will be extending their stay.
So they will not leave around 5 or 5:30 as they now are accustomed to do, but they will extend their stay later on into the evening to leave around 10 or so as to facilitate their guests, their passengers, our guests, participating in a Bridgetown craft market.
This is expected to enhance the local tourism product and provide new commercial opportunities for small businesses. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Well, the news of German airline Lufthansa's plans to begin a new service to Barbados has been welcomed by Chairman of the airport's board, Vic Finance. Speaking on the sidelines of a reception for repeat visitors, Mr. Finance told CBC that Europe represents an important catchment area for Barbados.
But for most Europeans, you have to go from Europe to London and then London to Barbados. Having a connection directly out of Germany straight into Barbados is a tremendous boost. I have family, for example, in Sweden. That's going to be a dead easy thing for them. They jump on the train, they head down to Germany, and they're into Barbados. Whereas in other situations, they generally have to overnight in London on the way to Barbados. You take all of that hassle out of the way, and you make it a lot easier for people in the European continent to come to Barbados. So it's a great thing.
And now this news just coming to hand. Fire, police and other emergency service personnel are at this moment responding to reports of a chemical leak here in the Pine St. Michael area, near the Pine Hill Dairy and the CBC. As a result, officials are diverting all traffic on the highway. Motorists are therefore urged to exercise caution while passing this area. We'll have further updates as they come to hand. Well, Prime Minister Mia Motley has described the late South African President Nelson Mandela as an inspiration to the world, especially on how to treat people. Ms. Motley expressed the view when Nadaba Mandela, the grandson of the late president, paid her a courtesy call at government headquarters. The Prime Minister said that even though the anti-apartheid revolutionary had been incarcerated for almost 3 decades, 18 of those years at Robben Island Prison in Cape Town, he found it within himself to move to a higher place and extended forgiveness for all forms of evil. She said his sincere actions placed him in a form of leadership that was special, adding that if she had one major regret, it would be that she had never met Mr. Mandela. However, she stressed that he had still inspired her. She told Mandela's grandson that not just his family, but the world would continue to uplift and preach his message. Meanwhile, Mr. Mandela said he was enjoying his first visit to Barbados, adding that he wanted to return and talk to university and secondary school students. He said he lived with his grandfather from the age of 11, and last year he wrote the book, Going to the Mountain, Life Lessons from My Grandfather, Nelson Mandela, where he told his life through his eyes as a grandson. Now, also attending the courtesy call were Minister of Housing, Lands and Rural Development, George Payne, Attorney General Dale Marshall, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Dr. Jerome Walcott, Minister of the Environment and National Beautification, Trevor Prescott, and Minister of the Creative Economy, Culture and Sports, John King. Now, also present was Mr. Mandela's host, Leslie Kalu. Well, the Transport Board today signed a major agreement with PSV owners that it says is poised to usher in a new era for public transportation in Barbados. The monumental occasion for public transportation came as the private and public sectors came together to officially sign off on the Transportation Augmentation Program, or TAP, as it is also known. Now, the board's acting general manager, Felicia Sue, was among the major signatories to the new agreement. TAP is being led by the Transport Board and is set to provide relief to Barbadian commuters by integrating participating PSVs into the board's existing fleet. The program will officially get rolling from tomorrow, Sunday, April 28th. Well, coming up, preparing for Buju, we'll hear from the Minister of Culture now that reaction has simmered to the changes for this year's Crop Over Festival. Welcome back. Well, in just under 3 hours, one of the most anticipated shows in Barbados will get underway. That's when Jamaica's reggae superstar, Buju Banton, will begin his Long Walk to Freedom concert at Kensington Oval. Now, earlier today, the band was going through its paces, rehearsing various aspects of the show. Stage crew and other workmen were busy making sure everything was in place for tonight's show. Thousands of Barbadians, along with visitors who have flown into the island, are expected to pack the Oval. Now, in other news now, there was initial mixed reaction to the changes to this year's Crop Over Festival, but Culture Minister John King says many stakeholders have now accepted the changes. Among the major shifts is one song at the finals of the Piccadilly Crop competition and no semi-finals. He says when one looks at the major competitions on the world stage, performers only sing one song.
You get one shot at making that impression. And so Calypso, for a number of years, has been the one area where people had the opportunity to perform two songs. But what we've seen over the years, and we have to be honest and frank, in that the numbers going to Pickety Crop have dropped off. And you have to ask yourself, okay, why? The research that I've done personally over the years, even before getting into this position, suggests that people are often disappointed in the offerings, and they keep bringing up the whole concept of people having a one sound.
Now, Mr. King was speaking during an open day hosted by the ministry at Sky Mall in Haggett Hall. Patrons at the mall were entertained by various artists along with students from the Lester Vaughan School. Now, he says many times the public is not aware of the work done by the ministry's various departments and agencies, and many people believe they just organize Cropover and NIFCA. Now, as it relates to Soca Royale moving to the National Botanical Gardens at Waterford, he says they were looking at ways to keep the event fresh.
You know, you have a competition, you get the winners from that competition, they're going to a final, there's a certain way that it is put on, and that has happened now for a number of years. But what are the things that you could bring to it that are going to be fresh, that will pique someone's interest, something that's completely different? And that is a change of venue. And ever so often, you're living on a small island, we don't have a lot of different spaces to go to, but you have to explore new spaces and give people a different experience. And for that reason alone, we decided that, you know what, let's do something out of the box. I mean, after all, the ministry is called Creative Economy, Culture and Sport.
Some education news now. With the Barbados Secondary School's entrance examination mere weeks away, MP for St. Michael West Central, Ian Gooding-Edgell, has ensured Class 4 students of Lawrence T. Gay Memorial School are adequately prepared. He presented over 80 11-plus examination kits consisting of a clipboard and other stationery needed for the big day. Mr. Gooding-Edgell told students the school has not only helped to shape his personal life, but his career. He offered some advice to the students as they prepare for what he deemed a major milestone in their lives.
Even now, I still clearly recall how nervous and anxious I was when I too was getting ready for the examination, as I sought to put into practice the very good advice offered to me by school teachers, members of my family, and people in the community who all wanted the best for me. I therefore urge you to pay very close attention to the advice from adults that you make your studies the most important activity in your life, since what they say to you is based on their love and care for your future development and on the practical experience of grown-up lives.
Now, for the Class 4 students, they intend to heed the advice given by the visiting politician.
Sir said that to put in all effort and that to do our best, keep on striving to do excellence.
I thank you, sir, for wishing me good luck on the exam. I wish you good luck on the rest of your life. I will use the things that you gave me to the best of my ability.
Today, sir talked about when you're going to exam, to strive to your best. Don't worry about anything else and try to go to the school you want to.
Now, as we told you earlier, fire, police, and other emergency service personnel are at this moment responding to reports of a chemical leak here in the Pine-St. Michael area, near the Pine Hill Dairy and the CBC. And as a result, officials are diverting all traffic on the highway. Motorists are therefore urged to exercise caution while passing this area. And what you're seeing now is live video of the outside of the highway, where, as we said, officials have diverted traffic at this time. So do exercise caution if you're passing this area. Well, just ahead in sports, Amory Burke takes on all of the details coming up.
KFC Orange 3 Pinelands, while the Cavs rolled into the final after defeating Barbados Lumber Company LSC. CBC's Melissa Farley reports.
Bulls versus Pinelands in this Game 2 encounter. Remember, Bulls had won Game 1 in this semi-final series. They started extremely well and got the first couple of baskets to settle themselves. And as the first quarter went on, they grew in confidence and were extremely clinical from all parts of the court, building a 10-point lead with both Andrew Eiffel and Akeem Marsh scoring 9 points apiece. At the other end, Jeremy Gill was filling up on the points column for Pinelands. But when time expired in this first half, the score was 40-30 to the Bulls. In the third quarter, Eiffel and Marsh were still doing their thing to increase the Bulls' lead now to 18, 68-50. With that comfortable gap going into the final quarter, Bulls had some breathing room. But Pinelands had other ideas and went on an impressive run, scoring 30 points with Gill and Vanderpool being unstoppable. However, despite Pinelands cutting that deficit tremendously from 18 to 6, Bulls got some more vital scores with 14 points coming from Captain Raheem Gibbons and Sean Paris each. And Bulls were able to close out the game 86-80. They're into the final. Now their opponent from this other semi-final clash between LSC and the Cavaliers were determined by point difference. That's because when the Cavs won Game 1, they fell by 1 point in the second game, which meant stats had to come into play, seeing that it was a 2-game series. It was a back and forth change in lead as each fought to make next week's finale, with LSC holding a 19-16 advantage at the end of quarter number 1. Cavs then managed to restrict LSC's scoring in this second period of play. Joel Hunt and Darren Hunt helped the Cavs to take over the lead with both scoring 10 points each. And Smith also continued his good shooting on the night with 13 to his name as the Cavs outplayed LSC in the second quarter and went into halftime 36-33. Cavs started the second half with the same dominance. Baskets from Smith and the Hunts meant that the Cavs extended their lead now to 15. It was their best quarter of the game as they headed into the final act, up by 15, 62-47. LSC played well in the fourth quarter, matching every run that the Cavs went on and played great team ball against their rivals. Burkett shot a game-high 29 points and was hugely influential as LSC took back the lead and ran out victorious by 1 point, 72-71. However, losing the first game by 25 points cost them dearly, as despite the defeat in Game 2, Cavs move into the final on a higher points aggregate. Melissa Farley, CBC Sports.
And we do apologize for the loss of sound at the beginning of the sports night, but now over to some cricket, as the semi-final spots have been filled in the BCA Sagicor General T20 tournament after the quarterfinals were completed today. At Bank Hall, ICBL Empire crushed IGS Insurance Yorkshire by 47 runs. Batting first, Empire scored 132 for 7 in their 20 overs. Jamali Lynch taking 3 for 37. CBC's Damien Best was there for the final overs.
Brilliant sunshine at the Empire Ground, the hosts winning the toss and batting against Yorkshire. This is the latter stages of the innings. Kevin Stoke trying to clear the boundary of Armani. Best on this 3s and 4s ground, taken instead by Jamali Lynch for 47, 104 for 5 with 3 overs to go. Shaquille Cumberbatch facing up now to Jamali Lane, looking to keep the scoreboard ticking, but Best settles and gobbles up an easy catch at long off. Cumberbatch goes for 22. It's 111 for 6. Jamel Warrican showed his intent from early as well, looking to arrest the slide. Clears the mid-wicket boundary to add 4. But going for a second slice of the pie off Lynch. He was plucked out the air by Jamar Lane. Well taken indeed. His contribution was 6. Home stretch now and Empire taking full advantage of any gifts. Full toss and Andre Roach goes through the covers. 3 to the tally. His eyes lit up at this half tracker as well. Get out of tongue, over the wall, 4 more. Yorkshire, but they would eventually finish on 132 for 7 in their 20 overs. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
In reply, Yorkshire was skittled out for just 85 and 18.5 overs. Jarian Hoyt was the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 18. Empire will meet the defending champion Sagicor Life UWA in that semi-final. At 3W's Oval, UWA defeated Gladiola by 121 runs. Scores UWA 207 for 6. Kyle Corbin hitting 53 off 34 balls. Gladiola in reply were 87 all out. Joshua Bishop took 3 for 24. Now the second semi-final will feature Carlton and YMPC. Scores at the Desmond Haynes Oval, Zachary McCaskey scored 53 as Wildy scored 127. Carlton in response 132 for 2 in 16.1 overs. Sadrian Ward slammed 65 off 43 balls. Then over at Beckles Road, YMPC beat BDF by 23 runs. Scores YMPC 138 for 7, BDF 114 for 7 in 20 overs. Well, an aggressive 44 from opener Liam Livingstone and Yusuf Rajinka Al-Rahane and Sanju Sampson. Pakistan Royals beat the Sunrisers Hyderabad with 5 balls to spare in today's lone IPL matchup. With the win, Royals live to fight to secure a berth in the batting first. Sunrisers made scoring 1. Now here's a look at that runs chase.
Rahane goes big and goes over mid-wicket for 6 straight away. Puts pressure on Rashid. This time it's Livingston. Got power.
Oh, his go-to area, Livingston. And he's got hold of this one. Swatted. That's a well struck.
Well, they're desperate for a wicket now.
Partnership between with Manish and Warner, but then since then things hasn't gone your way, is it?
How much of that has he got? Just enough to catch the fielder, David Warner.
Off the front foot on this occasion. Sanju Samson to both sides of the ground.
Oh, wonderful wrist work, Sanju. Hello. Yes, that's been taken. Shakib is at final over and it's disappeared. So the winning of the game, the very first ball of the final over.
Lionel Messi came off the bench to score Barcelona's winner against Levante today, delivering an 8th Spanish League La Liga title in 11 years for the Catalan club.
You can work it back inside or just go alone. Still Dembele. Vidal, Messi, Dembele. Desperate defence from Levante. They can't clear it either, and it's going to break through to Messi. Still Messi! There he goes again!
Just listen to what they're shouting. Messi, Messi. Vidal plays a big part here. Messi's onside. It falls to him. Look at the quick feet. Right foot, left foot, back of the net before you know anything. Unbelievable. Thought it had gone. And then Vidal revitalises it. And that's class.
And that's it for sports. I'm sure everybody wants to know how the weather will hold up a little later for the show. Carrie Ann O'Neill, she's standing by to give you all the details.
Good evening and welcome to the weather news. Well, today in Barbados, we had mostly fair skies as we came under the influence of the high pressure ridge. Meanwhile, the shear line continues to affect the Central Islands. And tonight, a tropical wave is east of the region. Now, the maximum temperature today was 30 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 79%, and the winds coming in from the east at 28 kilometers per hour. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures, they're ranging from 28 degrees Celsius, that's the highest, and the lowest 26 degrees. The relative humidity for us here in Barbados, 79%, and the winds coming in generally from the east and peaking at about 28 kilometers per hour. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where the high pressure ridge dominated weather conditions for us here in Barbados. As a result, we had mostly fair skies. Meanwhile, the shear line continued to generate wet conditions across some of the Central Islands. Now tonight, we have a tropical wave, this one located at 30 degrees west, south of 8 degrees north. It's moving towards the west and will move over the Guianas sometime late Tuesday into Wednesday. For us here in Barbados today, we had mostly fair skies, minimal showers. Those showers, however, occurring over some of the Central Islands. And as for the Northern Islands, once again, a few showers over some of the southern Leeward Islands. Further south, we have the Guianas coming under the high pressure ridge. As a result, they had just a few showers today. And over the Western Caribbean, a frontal system maintaining showers over northern Bahamas and also sections of Cuba. We move to the forecast, where the sun is expected to rise at 5:39 and will set at 13 minutes after 6. The first high tide and only one, 12 minutes after 11 in the morning, the first low at 5:36 a.m. The seas are slight to moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 1.5 meters. The winds coming in generally from the east to the east-southeast at 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, fair to partly cloudy skies, a few brief isolated showers. Over the next 3 days, we are expecting fair to partly cloudy skies along with just a few isolated showers. And we leave you now with forecast weather conditions for some areas across the Caribbean, followed by some selected international cities.
And just before we go, another reminder that fire emergency and other emergency personnel are at this moment responding to reports of a chemical leak here in the Pine St. Michael area near the CBC and the Pine Hill Dairy. Now, as a result, officials have diverted all traffic traveling on the highway. And what you're seeing here is a live shot of